The old woman walked with short, careful steps, her heavy coat barely holding her up against the cold that had already seeped into her bones. She was alone in that natural park, far from everything, trying only to cross a shallow area to reach the other side of the woods. Then the ice cracked. A dry sound, too fast for her to react. The ground disappeared beneath her feet. Her body plunged directly into the icy water, the thermal shock stealing her breath. Her arms slammed against the broken edge, while her fingers desperately tried to grasp something that simply wasn't there. The ice crumbled with each attempt. The weight of her soaked coat pulled her down, and her legs were already starting to lose their strength. The cold current seeped into her clothes, and time began to slow. Her breathing turned to despair. A few meters away, among the snow-covered trees, a gorilla was watching. He wasn't there by chance. The animal had strayed from his group after a storm, exploring this new territory. Silently, his dark eyes followed the exact moment of the fall. The movement, that sudden disruption in the white landscape, triggered something deep within him. Alertness, protection, empathy. The gorilla advanced. His heavy footsteps crunched on the snow as he approached the edge of the lake. The smell of icy water mingled with human fear. The old woman no longer screamed. Her energy was almost gone. Only one arm remained above the water. The gorilla reached the edge of the ice and tested the surface with his knuckles. It was fragile. He knelt slowly, distributing his body weight evenly. Every movement was calculated. The ice creaked beneath his mass but didn't give way. The woman was sinking deeper. The gorilla extended his arm. His large hand, covered in dark fur, reached for the fabric of her coat. The first tug wasn't enough. The ice broke a little more, and the water rose to the elderly woman's chest. The gorilla growled softly. He gripped the coat more firmly, and he pulled. If this story is already touching you, leave a like now. It really helps this kind of content reach more people. The elderly woman's body partially slid out of the water but fell back as the ice gave way under the combined weight. The edge shattered into small, floating fragments. The gorilla retreated half a meter. He took a deep breath and changed his strategy. He lay completely flat on the ice, spreading his body weight just as he would when crossing unstable terrain. He advanced centimeter by centimeter, using his forearms as anchors. The snow clung to his fur, the cold penetrating his thick skin, but he continued. His arm stretched out again. This time, he grabbed the elderly woman's forearm directly. The contact was firm, decisive. With a slow, powerful movement, he began to pull. The woman emerged from the water in small increments, her body heavy and stiff from the cold. Each centimeter gained seemed like a victory against time. The gorilla used his own torso, using his legs as a lever, pushing against the ground while pulling backward. The ice was cracking. The wind was picking up. The elderly woman could no longer move on her own. She was being carried by the sheer strength of that animal. Finally, her entire body lay on the white surface. The gorilla kept pulling until he reached dry land. He didn't stop. He dragged the woman to a sheltered area by the trees, away from the lake. There, he positioned her on her side, preventing the water in her lungs from becoming fatal. With movements that were rough but careful, he pushed snow against her body, trying to lessen the thermal shock. Then he just stood there, watching. His chest rose and fell rapidly. His eyes never left the woman. Minutes later, distant sounds began to echo among the trees. People were approaching, drawn by the tracks and the broken ice. The gorilla noticed. He took a few steps back, but he didn't run away immediately. He waited. Only when he saw other humans surrounding the elderly woman, covering her with thermal blankets, did he finally turn his body and slowly disappear into the white forest. If you believe that animals feel empathy, comment with a heart. Right now, take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, because stories like this need to be shared. The elderly woman survived. Doctors later confirmed that she was just minutes away from irreversible hypothermia. Without that unlikely intervention, the outcome would have been different. No cameras captured the moment. Not a single word was exchanged. But the marks in the ice, the tracks in the snow, and the testimony of the rescuers made it clear. A gorilla chose to help, not for a reward, not for recognition, by instinct, by connection, for something that many humans are still trying to relearn: empathy. While the world insists on separating species, that animal showed that compassion doesn't need language. It showed that force is not only for domination, but also for protection. It showed that even in the coldest landscape, there is still room for love. The gorilla returned to his group. The woman returned to her family. But the gesture remained etched in the memory of everyone who heard this story. Because sometimes, the one who saves the day isn't the one who speaks. It's the one who feels. And perhaps the greatest lesson is this: if a wild animal is capable of risking its own life for a stranger, the least we can do is learn to respect, protect, and love all forms of life around us. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to remember that there is still goodness in the world. Sometimes it comes covered in fur and walks on ice. Thanks for watching.